Hello everyone, this is Pikachumaster 5 for 2, 5 for 2, with another exciting episode of my Brunch Anime Time series, with yours truly. Now, it's a bit early for me, so I'm not really in the mood to eat, but I do have my Pepsi, 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 Pepsi. So I have some new My Hero Academia merch that I can show off today in my review of part 2 of season 2 of My Hero Academia, or in Japan they call it Boku no Hero Academia. And this is my Chibi Deku, Chibi Deku, and Chibi All Might. That's right, I am here. Duck, run. Oh, Ducky. So, yep. Oh, yeah, and also my two plushies, my Deku and my Bakugo plushie. I'm Deku, la 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 la. I'm Bakugo. Go away. You shut up. I'm Bakugo. La 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 la. You shut up. Ha ha ha. Yep. Now we're gonna talk about part 2 of season 2 of My Hero Academia. Just need to search up the episode list, and we can begin. Episode list, episode list, episode list, episode list, episode list, episode list. Find that episode list. Okay, so we stopped at 13 episodes, which was the hero name episode. And now we begin at episode 27, which is called Bazaar. Gran Torino appears. So let's see. I'm going to use the Chibi figure this time. The internship program starts and Izuku is waiting to meet Gran Torino. When he does, he's not what he expected. Izuku begins to leave until Gran Torino shows his power and tempts Izuku to fight him. Meanwhile, Ida is looking for a hero killer stain, and the other students of Class A are also busy in their internship. Izuku trains hard, with Gran Torino, and finally starts to understand one for all. Gran Torino instructs Izuku to heat up the food he bought, but Izuku messes it up by not allowing the food to rotate in the microwave while they cook. After Gran Torino berates him for fouling up the frozen pastries, Izuku makes the connection between the food and himself. He realizes that, like the pastries, he needs to let energy flow equally through all parts of himself evenly. Gran Torino watches closely as Izuku spreads one for all's power throughout his body continuously. Impressed with how quickly he caught on to his symbolic lesson, then he challenges Izuku again using his newly mastered ability, One for All Full Cowl. One for All Full Cowl! Yeah! And that was episode 27. Episode 28, Midoriya and Shigaraki. Translation, Midoriya to Shigaraki. As soon as their mock battle begins, Gran Torino stops the flow of overall's power by striking Izuku from several angles. Unable to counter due to Gran Torino's speed, Izuku hides underneath the table to buy enough time to activate One for All Full Cowl. As he continues to take time about his battle with Gran Torino using his new power, Izuku leaps into the air and nearly hits the old man, but Gran Torino is able to counter and get behind Izuku. Izuku tries to use a smash on him, but Gran Torino proves to be too fast and just narrowly dodges the smash before headbutting Izuku. Ow! See. After 3 minutes are up, Gran Torino thinks that Izuku has improved and is a worthy one after he grazed his cheek. Now that Izuku knows how to control some of his powers, he starts to train more and more. And more with Gran Torino to perfect that power. Meanwhile, Suka Uchi informs All Might about the captured Nomu. It was once a low-level thug whose DNA and power were, were altered to the point it loses its brain activity and that someone gave it multiple quirks, leading All Might to suspect that a specific individual has returned. After Stain refuses to join the League of Villains, he returns to Hosu City to hunt down more heroes. Shigaraki also goes to Hosu, releasing several nobles to the city. On the way to respond to the noble attacks, Ida discovers Stain just as he is about to kill another hero. Meanwhile, Gran Torino decides to take Izuku to Shibuya City, and their train is attacked by a nobu as they pass Hoshu. And that was episode 28. Episode 29, Hero Killer Stain vs. UA Students. Hoshu City is under attack by Stain and 3 Nobus released by the League of Villains. Mwahahaha! As Gran Torino battles with Nobus, they attack their train. Deku searches the city for Ida. Ida confronts Stain, but is overpowered as Stain berates him for rates him for wanting vengeance over saving the wounded hero. Izuku arrives just in time to prevent Stain from killing Ida. Having received a cryptic message from Izuku before he attacked Stain, Todoroki arrives just as Stain has used his quirk, Blood Curdle, to paralyze Izuku. He scolds Izuku for not explaining the urgency of the situation because he could have gotten there sooner. And Izuku struggles. I can't move. Izuku, let's see. Izuku, let's see, where is it? And Izuku figures out the secret of Stain's quirk. Todoroki struggles to evade Stain's many blades, and Ida struggles with his own rage and quest for vengeance. After Todoroki tries to save Ida from like Izuku had done for him, Ida reflects shamefully on himself and starts to move his hand. And that was episode 29. Episode 30, Climax. Ida fights off Stain's quirk and joins the battle with Todoroki and Izuku. Endeavor and Gran Torino defeats a noble while the 3 UA students defeat Stain, at the cost of serious injuries to Ida and Izuku. Endeavor defeats the remaining noble and manages to calm the crisis. Todoroki restrains the defeated hero killer using rope and native carries, and injures Izuku out to the street. Gran Torino meets them there and berates Izuku for leaving the train against his orders. The other pros arrive to call an ambulance for the injured, and the police to arrest the hero killer. As Ida apologizes to his friends for getting them mixed up in the fight, an escaped Nomu captures Izuku and begins to fly away with him. Stain recovers and uses his quirk to stop it. He saves Izuku by grabbing him and stabbing the Nomu's brain. In spite of being heavily injured, Stain states that the fake pro-heroes that criminals in society must be purged to create a more just society, unnerving everyone, including Endeavor. However, before he can launch his attack, Stain's perforated lungs cause him to lose consciousness. And that was episode 30. Episode 31, The Aftermath of Hero Killer Stain. Following Stain's arrest, the video of Stain expressing his views on the present heroes has gone viral, and more people are falling to those views. When Stain in custody, they begin to gratify towards the League of Villains. Meanwhile, credit for the arrest has gone to Endeavor to ensure that Ida, Izuku, and Todoroki are not arrested for using their powers without permission. Ida apologizes for his rash behavior and decides to work on improving himself. Kirishima confirms that the location Izuku sent out earlier was an SOS, but he and Tetsu are caught and punished by fourth kind for being late to the internship. Momo and Kendo are finally able to go out on patrol with pro-hero Urobami after filming a commercial with her, and Uraraka calls Izuku about the incident. Gran Torino calls All Might and berates him because Izuku got his teaching license revoked and his pay docked. All Might apologizes and blames it on his own inadequate teaching. He replies that heroes will rise to defeat them, but Gran Torino responds that the League of Villains will rally them under Stain's ideology, since there has been a connection between them. He invites All Might to reveal everything about himself and, once for all, to Izuku when the opportunity arises and ends the call. Meanwhile, two men discusses about Stain's backstory and ideology in a hostess bar after one of them claims he may retire because of the drop in crime due to All Might's presence. Born Shizozomi Akagoto, Stain, inspired by All Might, wanted to become a hero, but become dismayed by how many only wanted to be heroes for fame and fortune. After failing to advocate the return of true heroism, he eventually resorted to his violent killing spree. The man who smokes a cigarette, stating that Stain's words will inspire many criminals into uniting with the organization Stain was believed to be allied with. And that was episode 31. Episode 32, Everyone's Internships. An anime-only episode, showing what some of the other characters did during their internships. Particularly, Froppy. In the fishing boat, Selkie and a couple of his crewmates are trapped inside after being fooled. Using her quirk, Cyrus hears Selkie and told her that this boat was a decoy and they must pursue the real stories. The criminal ringleader, Innsmouth, begins to attack them. He wrapped his tentacles around Cyrus and sent to crush her. Suyu does not tell her superiors to call off the search, and she gives away their location. Innsmouth pins Suyu down and is about to finish her off, until Selkie saves her and successfully defeats the villain by using his spotted seal quirk. Suyu calls Cyrus and tells that she's discovered on what is important about being a hero. The criminals are all arrested, and the Coast Guard thanks Suyu for her involvement. And that was episode 32. Episode 33. Listen up, A Tale from the Past. Izuku and Gran Torino bid farewell after a week of training. He thanks his mentor for helping him gain more control over his quirk. As Izuku walks away, Gran Torino returns to his senile state and asks Izuku his name. At first, Izuku is disconcerted by it, but he soon realizes what Gran Torino truly asked for and replies Deku. Pleased with Izuku's response, Gran Torino waves him off and they go their separate ways. Following the conclusion of their internship, everyone has returned to school and talk about each other, about their experience. Ojiro admits he fears what may have happened if Stain had come to the USJ, and Kaminari replied that the hero killer is kind of cool because of his personality. Izuku scolds Kaminari for this, promoting the latter to apologize. He admits Stain could be looked at as kind of cool, but goes on to criticize the villain for killing his own ends. At Class 1A's Hero Basic Training class, All Might announces their lesson will consist of a rescue training race through Field Gamma. After the class, All Might decides to tell Izuku the truth behind his quirk. One for all. When Quirk's first and the world was in disarray, a villain named One for All used his infamous quirk to steal a grand quirk to gain control over Japan. All for One also had a seamlessly quirkless younger brother who had a strong sense of justice. When All for One gave his power a stockpile quirk, it was discovered that the brother actually had the power to transfer quirks to others, and it fused to the stockpile quirk to form One for All. One for All was passed down through the generations until All Might defeated All for One, but left him with his injuries. All Might suspects All for One is still alive, and is the true mastermind of the League of Villains, and tells Izuku that he'll train him for the eventual encounter. Though All Might isn't able to reveal that he probably won't be by Izuku's side when the time comes. Meanwhile, a man who is surprised about the capture of Hero Killer Stain and claims that Shigaraki's position is to supervise and unify the new villains who came to join the League of Villains. And that is episode 33. Episode 34. Gear up for the final exams. Final exams are approaching, and the class prepares for the written and practical exams. Momo hosts a study party at her mansion, and Kendo tells Izuku and his friends that the practical exam will be against robot enemies. After making it through 3 days of written exams, everyone is shocked to learn that the practical exam will not involve robots this year. Instead, they will be fighting in predetermined pairs against one of their teachers. To pass, they must either defeat the teacher or escape the arena before time runs out. The first team, Kirishima and Sato, attempt to take on Cementos head-on, where their endurance and strength representatively. But Izuku notices that the strategy will not earn their victory because, unlike the students, Cementos did not have a time limit to his quirk. As a result, Kirishima and Sato both failed the practical exam and are ultimately defeated. The next pair to take the practical exam consists of Tokoyami and Tsuyu. Immediately, their opponent, Ectoplasm, creates clones of himself that surrounds the students. He states that all of the UA students will not hold back and are doing their best to crush the students. And that's episode 34. One pair of students fail and the other begin their test. Episode 35. Yayurazo Rising. At the practical and the final exams continue. Tsuyu and Tokoyami work together to invade Ectoplasm's army of clones. Both struggle to battle against them, but due to his giant bite, the tension technique that creates a giant clone of himself, which attacks and immobilizes the students. But Tsuyu believes that they can win because Tokoyami is strong. Ectoplasm was able to take down Dark Shadow, but his legs ended up cuffed in the exchange. Ectoplasm praises the duo for their cleverness, and they pass the practical exam. In the third match, Ida and Ojiro face off against the burrowing Power Loader. They pass the exam after Ojiro repels the teacher and crosses through the escape gate, which makes Power Loader impressed and congratulates them on passing. In the fourth match, Todoroki and Momo, whose confidence was shattered after being easily defeated by Tokoyami at the sports festival, attempt to invade Aizawa's quirk. Todoroki claims that he can escape the restraints instantly, but Aizawa hands him from a light pole and throws caltrops beneath him. As Momo makes haste for the escape gate, she nervously ponders whether she is making the right choice or not. But Todoroki backs up in confidence on her and reveals why he voted her as the class president. Then they come up with the better plan and able to defeat Eraserhead, and Todoroki thanks Momo for helping him pass the practical exam, much to Momo's tears. And that was episode 35. It was really, giving Momo confidence in herself. Episode 36, Stripping the Varnish. In the next match, Uraraka and Aoyama tried to avoid being sucked into the 13th black hole. Aoyama asks Uraraka if she likes Izuku, promoting an unexpected resolution to their match with 13. Kaminari and Mina attempt to invade the buildings being toppled by Principal Nezu as he strategically cut off their escape routes, but they fail because of Nezu's intelligence. Jiro and Koda, who both have sound-dependent quirks, struggle to come up with a strategy against President Mike's overpowering noise. Jiro asks Koda if he can control bugs, to which he confirms that she pleads for him to do so because there is no other way. They do so and overwhelm President Mike, allowing Jiro and Koda to escape. Then Soji creates a distraction to allow Hagigiri an opening against Snipe. Midnight takes out Zero quickly, leaving Mineta alone against her somnolent quirk. But Mineta states that he put out a scared act to draw her away from the escape gate and reveals himself with Zero's tape wrapped around his face to nullify Midnight's quirk. She tried to whip him into submission, but Mineta counters with his special move, Grape Rush, which uses to stick Midnight and her whip to the ground far away, allowing him to escape and pass the exam. Midnight is impressed by his ingenuity. And that was episode 36. Episode 37. Katsuki Bakugo Origin. The final match of the final exams pits Izuku and Bakugo against All Might. Ah! Izuku struggles to convince Bakugo to work with him, as Riley says Izuku believes they have no choice but to escape, and Bakugo seems determined to fight All Might head-on. Due to being hasty while fighting the teacher, Bakugo chooses to lose rather than working with Izuku. All Might was about to finish him off until Izuku punches Bakugo away and grabs him before retreating to a back alley. After Izuku recalls the time during the first grade when Bakugo defended himself from his friends about being an amazing hero will always win. Bakugo agrees to work with him, although he's still angered in the situation. Even with All Might's diminishing strength and weights, both students face serious injuries as they put everything they have into the fight. Inspired by Bakugo's resolve, Izuku leaps into action and hits All Might with a smash. He quickly grabs his partner and makes for the escape gate. All Might notes that Izuku could have escaped alone, but it has always been a part of his being to help those in need. They pass the exam, with the friends cheering them in the monitoring room. In Recovery Girl's office, she heals Izuku and Bakugo, while berating All Might for hitting them too hard. All Might muses over the boys' performance, proud that they can both grow stronger because they smile in the face of adversity. And that was episode 37. Now we're at episode 38. Encounter. Episode 38. Is the final episode of Season 2. Encounter. At the League of Villains hideout, two visitors express interest in joining the League of Villains. Shigaraki resents the fact that State's ideology has inspired so many people when his own approach has not been nearly as successful. Meanwhile, at UA High's Class 1A homeroom, those who believe they failed the practical exam section of final exams fear that they will not be able to go to the training camp during summer vacation. But Aizawa enters the room and telling everyone that they are going regardless of the result of the final exams. The students will go to training camp to get stronger as long as the teachers live out to make their work enabled to win. He calls it again the rational deception, which upsets many of the students who felt that they were tricked. Izuku and his classmates go on a shopping spree to prepare for summer training camp. At the mall, Shigaraki appears and briefly holds Izuku hostage. Before leaving, he explains his ideology and motives to Izuku before Uraraka shows up. The UA High's first term ended, and summer vacation is about to begin, while All for One plans to groom Shigaraki to replace him in the future. And that's Season 2 of My Hero Academia, Part 2. And also there's a recap special called Episode 13.5, which is basically Hero Notebook, which is a recap special of the first season of My Hero Academia. So yeah, that's the rest of Season 2, aka Season 2, Part 2. Now this is where I'm going to end it here for now, but join me next time in another exciting episode of my Brunch Anime Time series, with yours truly, Pikachumaster 5 for 2, 5 for 2, 5 for 2, doo-doo-doo. Peace, and have a great week. Bye, and see you next time for some more awesome Brunch Anime Time content in the future. What do you have to say, Deku? Blast Ultra! What do you have to say, Bakugo? Nerd! That's it. Pika Pika, adios everyone. And remember, stay being your true and awesome Pika selves, my Pika pals, because you're all Pika fantastic. Bye. Da 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 da